Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And what is going on, Man Hour Nation? It's your boy Brandon Combs, and there is no Buck tonight. I don't know, he caught the COVID, or somebody had said something about AIDS or something too. So I'm not sure what's going on, but we do not know Michael Buckheiser tonight. And before I bring on my boy Wyatt Williams, make sure that you check out manhourradio.com. Make sure you check out the YouTube page, YouTube.com/Man Hour, and the Facebook page as well. Click subscribe, click like, do all the sharing that you can. Help us out all that you can. But without further ado, the Wyatt Williams, what is going on?
Got a wedge thing going on here. What is that? There we go. All right,
I don't know.
Camera worked out. Hey, what's going on, man? NBA trade deadline, March Madness. We're in the middle of some awesome stuff going on right now.
It's sports heaven right now, isn't it? This is the best time of year for sports, is it not?
That's tough. It's either this or it's like around fall, because you have like football starting up. You've got the World Series and you've got October, all that stuff for baseball.
Yeah.
So,
but see,
that's
this is
tough.
like the championship time. So you've got college basketball wrapping up, and you've got the tournament.
A month ago was football.
Yeah, you've got baseball getting ready to start up. Spring training's kicking off. Everybody's excited. Opening day's right around the corner. But then you've got hockey and the NBA both gearing up for playoff runs.
Yeah.
I mean, this is always my favorite time.
It is
Plus,
awesome.
The Masters is right around the corner.
Oh yeah.
I love watching golf, and the Masters is upon us. So I don't know. I mean, for me, this is the best time. Like, I always figure out a way to take opening day off of work. So I just sit home and I watch baseball from 11 o'clock in the morning until midnight or 1 o'clock.
Oh man, I think our fantasy baseball draft is this Saturday, man.
It is, and I looked at it today, and so far it's only you and me.
Oh, there you go. Well, Buck catches COVID
up.
and doesn't enter our fantasy baseball league.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well, hey, there you go, Buck. So I know you're listening because I see you here in the YouTube chat. Buck, while you're laying there in bed, feeling all sick, down on your dumps, just like I was a couple days ago.
On your dumps.
And you're on YouTube, so you've got the interwebs. Use those interwebs and log in and sign up for the fantasy baseball.
Heck yeah.
He's gonna tell you you need to send him the link. I'm telling you right now, he's gonna tell you that.
I bet.
Buck says he just took his
pants.
Buck's in a different place right now, man. If you guys would have been here pre-show, Buck's in a different place right now. He's not feeling very well, under the weather. Buck, all seriousness, man, we hope you get better. We hope you start feeling better. But
I just choked on my water. There? Oh my god. Turns out, breaking news, you cannot breathe water. Okay, we're good. I'm here.
Oh my god.
Woo. Oh my god.
We've got to get Tori Anderson says because no one was invited. We've got to get those invites out there. We'll get
We've only
invite.
I only made it a 4-person league because this is the first year me and Buck are gonna learn and stuff. So who's the extra person?
Make it a 6 to 8 person. We get Tori Anderson will play. I'm sure Drew will play. I'm sure we can get Tim Anderson to play.
I don't think I can change it yet. I'll have to reset it then. I don't think you can change it once you set it at 4. Can you?
I don't know.
I'll look at it tonight. If I can't, then we'll just delete the league and we'll just join back. Because me and you will actually join. Buck will just have to wait. We'll just have to wait on Buck for another month or something. I only made this league at like, the middle of February, so he's only had a month and a half.
Buck says, I feel like I was hit by a bus twice. Buck, I had that, and then it went away. It went away the next day, and then the day after that, like, it just came back again. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. It's not COVID. Stop with COVID doesn't even exist. That's a political thing. Anyway, I'm just joking, guys. I'm just joking. I know. I don't at me.
Hold on, now, Combs. You're gonna trigger all the Karens of the world now. Hold on.
God.
Reel it in. No, I'm just kidding. Man Hour, we have the greatest audience on planet Earth. This is a Karen-free zone, okay? That's what this is.
True.
Man Hour Nation is a Karen-free zone. Just so everybody knows. We got to make a shirt of that. Man Hour Nation is a Karen-free zone.
Except for Michelle Dowling. Because Michelle Dowling's here. And I'm sure she just had a conversation with Aubrey because Aubrey came downstairs in the middle of our pre-show conversation where Buck was saying and doing some stupid stuff, and I was feeding into it, and Aubrey walked right into it. And
you better be glad that you put a ring on it when you did, because you've screwed up so much over the last week and a half that she would have totally kicked you out if you wouldn't have put that ring on her finger. You better be so glad that you put a ring on that finger, or I'm telling you, Combs, you'd been kicked to the curb, man. Shaving arms. Now you got the situation from earlier, which I won't even mention on air.
We got Nana chiming in here and says Buck is feeling bad because of him and Combs trying to pimp Nana out last night. So it's the voodoo thing.
Of course.
So Nana messages me last night and
she
says, so I actually was on the show.
I told you she was too. Hey, did I or did I not call that? I literally told you. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, my luck right now. She's on the show. Like I can feel it. I can feel her on here. I'm telling you right now, and she was. Yep.
So she said, so you're trying to pimp old Nana out, and you're talking about your little
party room.
And so at any rate, Nana was watching. Nana was paying attention in the after party last night. So
man. Hey, I told you. I tried to warn you. I was like, hey man, I'm telling you right now.
That's what it's about, though. That's what the after show is about. It's about getting to know us. And then Buck came up with this crazy idea. Hey, we should really start talking about stupid stuff that's going to get us in trouble. So we do. We talk about stupid stuff that's going to get us in trouble. Michelle says Aubrey didn't say anything, but she's listening and making faces at her. So it's
awesome.
I'll just tell you this. I took a screenshot of it, Michelle. I'll show you. Buck had made me a cake for my birthday. And it was just it's not an appropriate cake. And so we were talking about something that wasn't appropriate when she walked down. And that's the extent of that. But anyway, look, man, NBA trade deadline is upon us. A move after. I felt like I tweeted out at one point, like, I feel like there's a move a minute right now because it was just coming through. Boom, this person moved. Boom, this person moved. Boom, this person moved. So I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Well, that's
at the
the
chat
thing.
Here.
That's the thing with the NBA and every trade deadline. That's what I was sitting with Nikki today, and she was like, man, they're having a lot of trades today. And I'm like, it's a trade deadline. That's, for the last 3 days, these NBA teams have talked about moving players, and then today it hits and they're like, oh God, and everybody mad scrambles and panics and throws players into different cities and makes trades they probably wouldn't have 2 days ago. And then they regret it later on. I actually take it back. I kind of get Houston sending Victor Oladipo away, but we'll get into that here in a minute. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. So
it's just a mad scramble though in every league, in the NFL and the MLB and all of it. Trade deadline day is crazy. It's like it's almost like an opening free agent day for teams.
Yeah. And there's a ton to get through. So we are going to definitely get to it here. Let's take a quick break, and then when we get back, we will get into trade deadline stuff. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We will be right back on the Man Hour. And what is going on, Man Hour Nation? We are back here live on Big X Radio. Wyatt, the trade deadline has come and gone, man.
Yep.
Look, I got to tell you, man, I was excited about Lonzo Ball coming to the Bulls. That was the talk. The Bulls are heavy in pursuit of Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is almost, it's a done deal, pretty much. Lonzo Ball is coming to the Bulls. So I'm like, all right, cool. I hop in the shower. I get out of the shower. And the Bulls made a trade with Orlando to get Vucevic or Vucevic. However you say his name. Vucevic. Okay.
Yeah.
So
now Nikola and Nicola, don't ask me that. I get that wrong. But it is Vucevic. Yes, I know.
Okay.
That.
So Vucevic. So
I think it's Nikola. I think it's Nikola Vucevic. I know Vucevic. I don't know Nikola. I think it's Nikola.
Yeah, it's definitely Nikola. I knew that was his first name. I went with the normal pronunciation of the last name. So Nikola Vucevic, and then they who was the other kid they got in that game? Al something, I forget it. It's a Middle Eastern name for sure.
Going to Chicago?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I forgot that guy's name.
I know. It's like a.
But at any rate, they give up Wendell Carter, and they give up Porter. So, did the Bulls win that trade?
Yeah, I think so. I think they won it simply because they're a young team. They've got a lot of firepower around them, and adding a big like that, like Nikola Vucevic, is huge. And that addition to Lauri Markkanen is going to be really awesome. You already got Kobe White there, Zach LaVine. I mean, this is a young and talented roster. Plus, you've got Billy Donovan, a head coach. Billy Donovan's a good coach. You just got to give him some time to get his feet set and everybody moving in the proper direction. You're going to be surprised here within the next 3 or 4 years. Once LeBron retires, you'll be surprised how much the league opens up. You'll be surprised how many people start winning because, it's just that superstar power. The NBA has always been controlled by 1 or 2 players. It's just how it is. During the Jordan years, it was controlled by Jordan. After that, it was Kobe. Then it was LeBron. It's just been controlled by those players always. Whatever league they're in or whatever division they're in, West or East, or conference, whatever conference they're in, West or East, they lock it up. So I know he's on the West now, but he locked up the East for so long. LeBron won the East every single year, it seemed like. It was every single year, pretty much. So you're going to see a lot of parity come up and a lot of teams just spring out of nowhere, I feel like, once LeBron retires. So I think that Chicago is actually one of those teams, and I think they're kind of building for that moment to come. Just as long as they can keep Zach LaVine on roster, just as long as they can keep Kobe White there, just as long as they keep their young and influential players there, they should be set and good to go for a long time.
Yeah, and look, I was very excited by this, the prospect of the Bulls backcourt, and then they improve the front court instead of the backcourt, but then they go ahead and make a trade for Thies from Boston. Now, I'm not sold on this kid that they picked up from Boston. I'm just not. I'm not sold that this made them so much better. But where do you feel like the Bulls are sitting after this? Right now, they're sitting in 9th, obviously, but you could be a 9th place team, but after the trade deadline, be a top 5 team. We were talking about this earlier. If they still would have landed Alonzo Ball, I think that they would have been a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference. Are the Bulls better than what they were yesterday?
Yes, they're better than what they were yesterday. Looking forward to where they're at, they're currently sitting in 10th in the Eastern Conference standings, behind the Pacers, and the Celtics are at 8. And then above that is the Hawks and the Knicks and then the Heat, and then 4 is the team I really want to look at here. That's the Hornets. The Hornets just lost their best player in LaMelo Ball, in my opinion. He was the best player for him. Terry Rozier's great, Gordon Hayward's great, but I think LaMelo Ball was really the star power and the firepower for that team. He did a lot for him. So they're 22-21. They're going to be dropping down. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. I believe they are, I want to say like 1-3 ever since he's been gone, something like that. It's not great. So you expect to see the Hornets drop. So that'll give the Bulls a place to move up as well. But when you look behind them, I don't really see anybody behind him that's going to come creeping up on him because you have the Raptors sitting one spot right behind him. The Raptors didn't make any moves. The Raptors sat still and they were stagnant. And in the NBA, that's the worst thing you can do is be stagnant. So they sat still, didn't do anything, and that will come to affect them in the long run. I don't think the Raptors will make the playoffs. They're a good enough team to, but they're just playing so cold right now. They are 1-9 in their last 10 games. It's not good. They've won 1 of their last 10. After that, you've got the Cavs, who have Garland and Colin Sexton, the 2 guards that started out the year really hot and then just kind of disappeared after that. So I wouldn't really expect them to come up and make any moves. Then after that, you got the Wizards. Wizards aren't going to do anything. The Magic aren't doing anything because we saw them make trades today, and they are clearly dropping down to get that higher lottery pick. They're saving up some picks and moving some stuff around because you get rid of Vucevic and Aaron Gordon in one day. That's your whole team right there. That's your 2 best players. That's your LeBron and AD. I mean, I know they're not actually to that star
They
caliber.
let go of another guy too. They traded another player as well. But the Magic just had an extreme fire sale.
And then after that at 15, you got the Pistons sitting at the bottom of the Eastern Conference Finals. They're not going to come up. So I think really the only way to go for the Bulls is up from here. They made some good moves. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games, so that's not great. But like I said, you add a big here to this roster. I think it's a really good move by them. I really do. Otto Porter is a great player. Not great. He's a good player. He is a solid 7.5 out of 10, 7.57, somewhere in there, maybe an 8. But he's a solid player. But I think Vucevic, he's been an all-star, I believe, 2 of the last 3 years, something like that. He's a good big. He's probably a arguably top 5, definitely top 10 center in the league. So this is a big move for them, and it'll be nice to pair Lauri Markkanen and a guy who is much younger to sit behind, and not sit behind, but sit next to. He can learn a lot of stuff from Nikola. The big move though that you mentioned with them getting the trade with the Celtics, they send Mo Wagner out. Mo kind of, you mentioned you didn't like the move. I don't really think it was a move. I think it was kind of like, here is a, player with potential but hasn't done anything, and you give me your player with potential but hasn't done anything. You know what I mean? Because Wagner hasn't really done anything ever since he entered the league. Ever since he left Michigan, it's kind of been, no noise. It's all kind of just got quiet for him. He's a good player, but he's a decent guy to come off the bench and play. But Wagner hasn't really done anything for him. So I think that was just exchanging bench players. Maybe something going on there with Wagner, but they got rid of him. But like I said, I think it's only up from here. The Eastern Conference, luckily for the Bulls, is so bad that they genuinely just have to win. If you have
to be top
40,
10 this year to get in the playoffs. So top 10 get in. Right now they're in the playoffs.
Yes, but this year I'm going to say 35 wins and to get you in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
they don't have far to go. So
I think some of the Eastern Conference teams got better today, though. Too. I mean, the Sixers got better today by acquiring George Hill. That was a good get for them.
That was a big guard for them, actually. A lot of people will overlook that move, but that's going to be a nice bench player. He'll probably be the 6 for them coming off the bench, or he could even be the starting guard, and that will open up things for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons can get down low again because Ben Simmons is a good point guard. Ben Simmons is a limitless positional player. He can play anywhere from the 1 to the 4 pretty much, and he can play the 5, but not great. You can literally, he's like Jason Tatum. You can literally, and LeBron James, you can literally just shove him anywhere on the court. They're just purebred athletes. They're just good, good basketball players. It's just that simple. So, you can put them there. I think this kind of opens up things for the Sixers here. You bring in George Hill, who's a much better shooter than, anybody's a better shooter than Ben Simmons. Heck, I might be a better shooter than Ben Simmons. It depends on the night. Remember that night I went 3 for 4? At church, I was telling you about Combs. That night, I was a better shooter than Ben Simmons. No, all jokes aside, though, there was a lot of Eastern Conference teams that make a lot of good moves, but there was a lot of Western Conference teams, I think, that made a lot of good moves.
Right. Yeah, and Tori Anderson chimes in here. OKC now has 34 draft picks in the next 7 years. They may have some capital to trade around. 17 first round and
Yep.
17 second round pick. That's some draft capital, man.
Honestly, if they're smart, if they're really smart, they might package like, I don't know, 5 second rounders and then try and get a first with that, or maybe even less, probably 4 second rounders, try and get a first, another 4 second, try and get a first, and then another 4 second, try and get another first out of that. That's 3 more first round picks, and then you can go nuts. I mean, you can go crazy with that.
Right.
So OKC, they've already got such a young roster there too, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and everybody there. They're already kind of younger as it is. So they look out for OKC. OKC is another team that I think once LeBron leaves the league, I think OKC is another team that's really going to pop off. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander steps up and he will be a star in this league. And then I'm sure they'll use at least, 5 of those first round picks, depending on where they land. I'm
Is there
sure
a
they'll
team
use
that can't wait for LeBron to leave more than the Clippers?
the Bucks, maybe the Eastern Conference Finals team every year, the Nets.
Yeah.
Probably the Clippers, because the Clippers are a good team. They're talented, but it's just like they're not even the best team in their city. Not even the best team in their stadium. There's a better team in their stadium. They're one of those teams that, I forgot a name. I knew I was forgetting somebody. Schroeder, yes. Once LeBron leaves the league, I think you can't deny that they're one of those teams that just chokes in the playoffs all the time. No matter how good they are, the Clippers are just a team that chokes in the playoffs. They can come in as a 1 seed, they can come in as a 2 seed, and they're going to find a way to choke. So they've got to get past their own demons, I think, before they worry about LeBron leaving or being in the league.
Absolutely. So I'm very excited about my Bulls. I mean, no doubt. I think the Bulls are going to be a tough out in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year. I think they're going to...
I think they move up to a 6 seed. I really do.
I think that they're going to... I was just going to say, I think they're going to end up finishing somewhere like between a 6 and an 8 seed, somewhere in there. And so I think that they are poised to make a run. Now, my question to you, after all these moves, everything that we've seen throughout the day, who's your winner of the trade deadline?
Winner of the trade deadline, the Bulls did really good, but man, three teams, third place Bulls, second place the Miami Heat. Miami Heat did a really good job acquiring Victor Oladipo, but number one, the best team that did amazingly is the Denver Nuggets. Dude,
yeah.
they made a move that made them a title contender.
Yeah.
That in bringing in Aaron Gordon to go with Jamal and to go with Jokic, to go with Joker. Are you kidding me? That team is going to be insane. They are going to be really, really good, and they are going to be a tough out in the tournament. So I'm really excited to see what the Nuggets do. So
if I had to pick JaVale McGee too. I didn't
even know that. JaVale McGee is a good big. Yeah. He's a nice rebounder and a good defender in the paint.
They traded with Cleveland to get him. They traded Isaiah Hartenstein and 2 second-round picks, I believe.
I didn't even see that.
I think one of the second-round picks was like 2027 or something.
Wow. So they're going to have Joker, and then Joker comes off, and JaVale McGee comes back on the floor.
Yeah.
Watch out playing against Denver. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Denver won this. I'm sitting here saying Denver won the trade deadline.
With them. I kind of hope you were going with somebody else for your winner so I could be like, bam, what about the Nuggets? But no, you're on top of it. The Nuggets definitely are the winner of this trade deadline, man. Dude, that Aaron Gordon addition, like you said, I mean, it makes them a contender, and more of a contender than they would have been, without making a move. But, I mean, look, LA is without AD and without LeBron James. Well, they're kind of dead in the water, man.
Oh, they absolutely are. And I think they drop a couple of spots And I think they'll have a tough playoff run because with LeBron out indefinitely and AD will probably miss. AD will probably miss another week or two, maybe. I don't know the extent of his injury, so don't quote me on that.
Would
He could
you
be
hold
totally
AD out? If
I knew we would make the playoffs, yes. As of right now, I probably would, because
right. But would you bring him back in the
Western
playoffs
Conference,
though? If there's a chance that he could re-injure?
Yeah, you have to. It's a do or die moment. It's the playoffs. But you look at this: the 10th seed right now in the West is the Warriors.
Yeah.
The Warriors are the 10th seed right now, and if you think it's that 10th seed won't knock off a 1, possibly, you're crazy.
They were a lottery team last year.
Yeah, no, well, the Golden State Warriors finessed. What do you mean they're not same?
They're not the same Golden State Warriors. They're not the dynasty Golden State Warriors, which is insane to me because they were a dynasty just 2 years ago. Like,
well, yeah, but Klay is hurt. That's the problem. Klay is hurt,
exactly.
And you know, what's his name? Now I'm gonna forget his name. What's the forward they just brought in? Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre is a good forward, but like he's not what. You know, he's not going to lead you in that way. You know, he'll help you get there.
Does Klay Thompson take them from a 10th seed to a 4th seed or something like that?
Yes,
do you think? You
absolutely.
think so? Just by adding Klay Thompson? All right.
I promise you. The Splash Brothers are ridiculous because you can't cover both. Like one of them is going to pop off for 30, and you just got to hope and pray and hold on that both of them don't pop off for 30. Like every night, it's a guarantee that they have a player with 30 points. Like you can go back and look at their stat lines. You know, when they went 73-9 with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala. Iguodala was the forward on that team. Kevin Durant wasn't even on that team. When they they had the best record of all time in a regular season. Nobody ever thought that anybody would beat Jordan 72-10, and they did it with 2 players essentially leading their team. So, you know,
yeah.
But you look at the Western Conference here. The Nuggets are sitting at the 5 seed. 26-18. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games. Like I said, they've got a winning record. 14. Clippers at 3, 29-16. Lakers at 4, 28-16. Nuggets at 5, 26-18. Blazers at 6, 25-18. Mavs at 7, 23-19. Spurs at 8 with 22-19. Grizzlies at 9 with 22-20. And then Warriors at 10 with 22 and 22. I mean, and then when you look at the Eastern Conference, a 22-22 team, I'll just give you an example here, okay? Or I'll tell you what, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. A 22-21 team right now, okay? 1 loss off. They have 1 less loss, okay? Hornets, 4 seed in the East. The 4 seed in the East is 22-21. The 10 seed in the West is 22-22. If that just shows you how just it's not even fair. The West is by far the best. This is all going to come down to the Sixers, Bucks, and the Nets, and not in any particular order. I think the Heat make a push, and I think the Heat will possibly knock off one of those teams because the Heat made some really good moves
for the Lakers.
That would,
but as while everybody else around you, who's ahead of you right now, got better, and you did nothing. So. That's why I have the Lakers there. Obviously, I mean, now let me ask you a question. Go back here about our winner of the NBA trade deadline. Okay.
Hold on, buddy. You cut out. Say that last thing again.
I said let's go back here to the winner of the NBA trade deadline.
Yes.
Could you possibly? I know we said about the Nuggets. Kind of going off of what I said about my loser being the Lakers because they just stood pat. How about maybe the winner being the Brooklyn Nets because nobody else in the East really got that much better. They didn't make any blockbuster moves. The Sixers got a little bit, they added a playoff tested veteran in George Hill. But I mean, they didn't, it wasn't a world beater trade. So maybe the Nets won this trade. I mean, after getting Harden, they've got their big 3. Maybe the Nets won the trade deadline.
I don't think you're incorrect on that one. The only real moves that were made in the East, sadly for the Brooklyn Nets, were the Sixers made a good move to get George Hill, point guard, which I think will make an immediate impact. I think we'll see that right off the bat, and they're already a top team in the league. But another big addition that I think that people are overlooking is Miami's moves that they made today. But other than those two, really, I mean, the Bulls made some good moves bringing in Vucevic, but the Bulls made a good move because they got something they needed, but they also gave up Otto Porter, who's a good player for them. So
Wendell Carter was too. I mean, Wendell Carter's a decent little piece. He's not.
Yeah,
he's not the guy that's going. You're going to look at him and be like, oh, we got to go get this guy. But he's a decent. He's a role player for sure.
Oh, sure, yeah. So it's I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. But I just think, I do think you're correct. I think that the Nets could be a potential winner in this deadline. I think it all depends on how the Sixers play with Hill and the Heat play with Oladipo, and the Bulls as well. If those three teams come out and these moves are huge and they're right off the bat firepower, boom, 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 and they're winning a ton of games more than they already were, say the 76ers, just win their next 10 games, and the Heat go on like I don't know what, they win 8 of their next 10 games, and then you look at the Bulls and the Bulls win 7 of their next games. Then I think we could possibly look at them as being a loser for not making a move. But at the end of the day, still, you don't have a team like the Nuggets in your division making big moves. You don't have a team like the Clippers bringing in a good playmaker like Rajon Rondo to back everything up. And I think Rajon will probably start. Lou Williams got some starting time, but Lou Williams was their 6th man. Lou Williams is arguably one of the best 6th men of all time.
Right.
He finally hit the 15,000 point mark, right? Wasn't that what he hit the other night?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then Ryan James Chafee comes in on the chat line and says, Celtics finally got a potential big man in the trade with the Magic, but they should have made this move last year. Next season, Stevens and Ainge should both be on the hot seat if they underperform.
I think Stevens is already on the hot seat. I really do.
Ryan says Nuggets and Bulls won the deadline, but don't sleep on Miami.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But looking at what Ryan said there, I'm going to bring this back up just for a second. I do agree with you. I though, when you mentioned Stevens on the hot seat next season, I already think Stevens is on the hot seat.
Do you? They love Stevens in Boston, man. They do.
They love him.
Now, I don't think the fans love him, but ownership loves him.
I think it's the other way around. I think the fans love him. I do. Because I think that the ownership has to act like they love him. But I think the fan base truly does like him. I think they like the hometown Indiana guy that he is.
He said the most Boston thing ever the other day, right?
What did he say?
Mean, he came out in one of his interviews and said, I'm a masshole now. I go to the arena or something, and he's like, I drive, I swerve in and out of lanes, and I stop at Dunkin's on my way. Like, so that's like the most Boston thing ever.
It's
so
awesome.
I think he's adhering himself to everybody out there in Boston, but this team should be better than what they are.
Oh, absolutely.
What are they, 22 and 21 right now, or the other way around? They're not very good right now.
They're not great. I'm looking it up here real quick. They are 21 and 23. They have a losing record, and they have lost 4 of their last 10 games. That's right. They lost last night. Yep. So they're 10 games under the top team.
And they should be better than what they are.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
Really
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. I don't understand what the trade rumors were for Jaylen Brown today, because that was a real weird situation. So like all these trade rumors come out that like Jaylen Brown is going to get moved, and then all of a sudden they said no, we're keeping him. Like we don't know how that came out. That was a real weird situation, but you've already got Jaylen there. You've got Marcus Smart. You've got Jason Tatum, who I think is a future star of the league. Once again, another guy. Once LeBron gets out of the league, I think he hits his strides as well. But Jason Tatum, a really good player out of Duke, and he is one of those guys that you can throw anywhere, man. He can play the point. He can play your shooting guard. He can play your small forward. He can play your power forward. I mean, you can literally throw him anywhere on the court, and he succeeds, except for the 5. I think that's the only place really that he would struggle. He'd still be decent at it. But, he's one of those, positionless players, kind of like what they call, Magic Johnson, LeBron James. He's just one of those guys that is just a really good basketball player. You can throw him anywhere. So they've got a good roster there. But I don't know what it is. So the big problem that the people have up there with Brad Stevens is it's not the X's and O's. He is one of the most brilliant coaches in the league at the moment for X's and O's.
Right.
I will stand by that 10 times. I would say X's and O's wise, I know this is a stretch, but I think Brad Stevens is a top, probably top 25 guy all-time X's and O's in the NBA. And I know he's been there not long. He's just a really, really smart basketball guy at any level he coaches at, whether if he was coaching
it's just
in
not
high
working
school,
for some reason.
Well, he has a problem motivating his players. That's what I think it is. In the NBA, it's all divas. It really is. That's all it is.
You're right.
It's a diva-driven league. So you've got to keep those players motivated. You've got to be that pushing force behind them. And Brad is not that guy. I don't know what it is. He just hasn't been able to give that push.
Right.
Like I said, the X's and O's are there. The the drafting is there. The scouting is there. It has nothing to do with that. He's a smart basketball guy. It's just the motivation skills. He's got a really bad issue with motivating his players.
All right, so let's do this. All right, so the trade deadline's come and gone. It's March 25th. It's 8:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pick your NBA champion as of right now. Who would you pick to be the front runner for the NBA title?
See, that's tough. I gotta see how LeBron comes back. So are we saying like LeBron comes back, he's fully healthy and everything?
I'm saying as of right now, the way the league stands right now, as of this moment, who's your favorite?
On LeBron and AD. My NBA champion. Give me the Lakers. I think LeBron comes back. I think AD comes back. And if they bring in Drummond too, that's dude, they're set. I mean, set. If they bring in Drummond, you got Schroeder at the 1. You can throw anybody at the 2 there. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You've got LeBron at the 3. You've got AD at the 4, and you've got Drummond at the 5.
Look, I don't
it.
think that I'm going to go against you here because I think that there's 3 teams in the West and 1 team in the East right now that are better than the Los Angeles Lakers, and that's because. For 2 reasons. 1, I don't think AD comes back fully healthy this season. There's no way he's coming back 100%.
I will back you on that. AD is very brittle and has been his entire career. That was the one knock I had on him coming to LA was, yes, he's a great player, possibly one of the greatest scoring bigs of all time. Whenever it's all said and done, he will be, I bet. Mm-hmm. But he's just brittle. That's always been his problem.
The other thing that I'm looking at is that LeBron's got a high ankle sprain, and those high ankle sprains are hard to come back from, but even harder to come back from as you get older.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at basketball. And he's no spring chicken anymore. He is the greatest, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and his conditioning is far beyond what anybody else's ever is. So he may be able to bounce back from this no problem.
I think he will. I think AD will have problems. So I think you're right on AD.
Right.
I think LeBron has taken such good care of his time over time, though.
For me, the Jazz are better right now. The Nuggets are better right now, and I would take the Clippers right now over over the Lakers.
If I think a hurt LeBron and a hurt AD would beat the Clippers in 5 games. I really do.
And in the East, I think that the Bucks are a better team than the Lakers right now. So ultimately, I'm going to give you a winner. I would go with the Utah Jazz right now. If I'm picking today, as the way everything stands right now, I would pick the Utah Jazz to win the NBA title. And I mean, look, they've just got a really good team. They're very deep.
I want to go behind you on that because I like Rudy Gobert a lot. I love Donovan Mitchell. I got to meet Donovan Mitchell when he played at Louisville. I have an
Funny
autograph.
Story. Last year, I was on Triple Shot Sports.
Yeah.
And we were picking, and I stopped watching basketball for a long time until just recently. And my buddy, Soup Boss there said, "Oh, I think Donovan Mitchell is a great NBA." I said, "Who the hell is Donovan Mitchell?" And who does he play? Like, I had no clue who Donovan Mitchell was.
What?
And then I started watching a little bit of them in the bubble and stuff. I was like, oh, that's who Donovan Mitchell is. All right.
Donovan Mitchell's a beast.
Yeah. So
I got to watch.
I really love what the Nuggets are doing. I think that the Nuggets can win this. And we're up against it right now. But before we get to a break, we have a birthday out there, don't we, Wyatt?
Yes, we do.
Whose birthday is it, Wyatt?
It is Nana. It is Nana's birthday.
Penelope Smith. Better known to everybody as Nana. Happy birthday, Nana. We love you here at the Man Hour. We appreciate everything that you do. I know we joke around with you a lot. You joke around with us a lot, but we love you. Thank you for all the support. And happy 45th birthday to you.
Heck yeah. Couldn't said it any better.
So we are going to go ahead and get to a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to get to Crystal Ball. We will be back in 2 minutes.
Man Hour Nation, what is up? It is the Wyatt Williams, as you see there, and we are here with a very special new. I don't know what we call this. It's a segment, of course. There it is.
Yeah, I misspoke before the break, and I said that it was going to be Crystal Ball, but I forgot we were going hot or not. So here we are with.
Absolutely. So we're here with the new hot or not segment. I'll bring on Combs here with me. Here he is. So the hot or not segment, basically. I just kind of give some scenarios for the NBA trade deadline. We'll do this at all the trade deadlines and a hot or not move. That's pretty much what it is. So, Combs, you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the first one here for hot or not, it is going to be the Heat with the move on getting Victor Oladipo. Hot or not?
That's hot. Yeah. That's a great move for them, man. A very good move for them. I like it a lot.
No, I agree with you 100%. They got rid of Kelly Olynyk in that move. Kelly Olynyk has been the cancer to this team. He really has. He's not been great for him. He has been just, Kelly Olynyk's a good guy, I guess, but he has just been wrecking it for him. Seriously, he is. God, he makes so many bad decisions on the floor, and he's done it for him time and time again. And they have lost numerous games because of Kelly Olynyk.
So real quick before you get to the next one here. So we have a message here from Chris Sims. I I'm not sure if this is the Chris Sims, but it is a Chris Sims.
I hope it is.
And so you guys see this come up in green here. It says $5. So if you're on YouTube and you go to that little, I guess there's a little dollar sign at the bottom of the comments. If you click on that and you donate to the show, whatever it is you want to donate, $1, $5, $10, $100,000, whatever you want to do, 100,000, million, whatever,
2 billion.
You can donate to the show. And all proceeds, we use it for the show. We use it towards things like, buying better equipment. We use it towards things like, getting on the radio for you guys over there at Big X.
Yep.
But these comments come through, and we have a certain amount of time to get to them. And this is the one that comes up, and it says, what do you guys think is going to happen to Watson? Jail time? No longer in the NFL? ? Tori Anderson says 500,000 would cover it.
Yeah, I would. Honestly, that's tough. I think it all depends on what ends up happening on the legal side of things. If he ends up paying out, I think that's a big part of it. It'll all depend on how this shapes out. I think we'll have our answer within the next month or two, though. I think we'll find out. If I had to guess, he'll get slapped on the wrist.
Here's what I think, and
I hate saying that. I really do, because. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You cut out there. That's why I hopped in. You cut out on my feed.
Oh no, you're good. So. No, so I just I want to say that it's not true, but I don't want to sit here and say it's not either. I hope it's not true. I really do. But if it is true, and like I said, it's a horrible thing, but let's just be real here. The NFL does a terrible job at these issues, whether it's domestic violence, whether if it is sexual assault, whatever it may be. The NFL screws it up every time, 9 times, and then one more. So I'm sure he'll just get some kind of a little, slap on the wrist, and then they'll just move on.
Look, and I want to say this with the utmost caution. But here's what it seems like to me on this end of it. This is a lawyer who is the neighbor of the Texans owner. This is a lawyer who has already falsely accused somebody else, and nothing came of it. A Houston, representative, and there's something strange going on in Houston ownership. And here's what I think's happening: they came at him and said, "Look, we know you went out, but we just paid you all this money. We're on the hook for all this money.
Yeah.
What about restructuring your deal, giving it back, and we'll find a trade for you?" And he probably said no. And now you got this lawyer, and now all of a sudden it started out with 2, then it went to 4, then we were at 12, then 14, then 19, now 20. Like, I feel like they are coming at him and say, look, we're going to keep coming until you pay some money. You're going to have to pay some of this contract, and then we'll trade you. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to end up paying. Lawyers looking to make a name. I don't think he's looking to make a name for himself. I just think he's a shady character. I think there's a lot of shady dealings going on in Houston with ownership. God,
he said, does he have a good looking daughter as well?
Stop it. Chris, I can't go there.
We can't answer that, Chris.
I feel like Deshaun Watson is in a tough spot. I don't really necessarily believe the accusations, but at the same time, I always err on the side of caution, because what if it is true? Exactly. And it wouldn't be the first time that I was made to look silly by believing an athlete. But he is... I don't know, man. I just... There's something stinky about this whole situation, and I feel like Deshaun Watson is caught up in it, and I feel like he's kind of getting... he's kind of getting blackballed here. They're like, hey, look, we're gonna keep coming. I'm gonna keep finding more women to say you did this. You need to pay some money, and I think he's gonna end up having to pay it out, and then they're gonna trade him. That's what I think is gonna happen. So, yes, the opinion, Chris. I gave you the opinion. I know I know it's a tough subject, and I know there's somebody listening to this. There's a Karen right now who is getting on Twitter. And my name's going to be blasted all over the place. And they're going to say, did you hear what this moron said? Blah, 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 blah. I get it. I understand that there is a possibility this could be true. But if you don't look at this from both sides of the fence and say, man, something sounds fishy, then I question your judgment. And I question your ability to look at things realistically. And so that's what I think of it. That's my opinion, Chris. So thank you for the donation. Thank you for contributing to the show. We appreciate it. And that's the answer to your question. So I hope that answered your question. And again, all you guys feel free to to utilize that same thing. We will get to every single one of those questions that comes through. It brightens up the screen here. It goes green. And we pull it up, and we will answer every single question that comes through like that. So
absolutely. But now, as we're gonna do a speed round here for hot or not. So just say hot or not for this move, and then give me like a sentence explaining why, and I'll do the same. Okay?
Yeah.
So here we go. So next is your team, the Bulls. Vucevic heading to Chicago.
Hot. The Bulls were already a decent enough team in the Eastern Conference. They became a good team in the Eastern Conference with the Vucevic deal.
You literally couldn't have said it any better. That was I'm not kidding you, Combs. This was exactly what I was going to say. They were a slightly above average team. They became a good team off this move. This is a hot move. So next here we have Nuggets receive Aaron Gordon. Combs, hot or not?
That's hot. Yeah, I mean the Nuggets became the second best team in the West, if you ask me.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think you're wrong, but that's just that is out. That's a tough call to make right now. I got to see how LeBron comes back.
They're only a game or two behind behind Utah right now. Anyway, they're not that far behind. It's not like they're 5-6 games behind.
They're sitting. Let me find it real quick.
They're sitting right behind the Lakers at 5th, but they're 26-18. They're
6.5 games behind first place.
Right, but now. You look at the Suns. The Suns are 29-14. The Nuggets are 26-18. They're not, you know what I mean. And the Suns didn't do anything. The Clippers didn't do anything. The Nuggets got better. Yeah, I put the Nuggets as the second best team in the West right now.
So next we have the Raptors saying they're going to trade Lowry. They end up keeping Lowry. A real weird situation. But with that being said, hot or not, Raptors keep Kyle Lowry.
It's hot for the Raptors. It's not for Kyle Lowry. I'll tell you that. So I'll say hot. I'll say hot for the Raptors. It was a good move for them.
I'll say it's hot for the Raptors, and it's cold for the Lakers and the Heat, who were trying to pursue him with everything that they had.
The Sixers were in on it too, man. Imagine if the Sixers
there was a lot
got
of
him.
Oh man, don't even tease me like that. So next, the final one for hot or not before we head to break here. The Pelicans keep Lonzo Ball, hot or not, Combs?
Not, because he was supposed to come to my Chicago Bulls and make them a top 5 team in the East.
Of course.
And instead he did not. So this is crap. They should have traded Lonzo. Free Lonzo. Get him out of there.
Free him.
But no, I mean it's hot for the Pelicans because they stayed relevant.
I like, but it's hot for the Pelicans. No, I agree with you 100%. It is hot for the Pelicans, and it sucks for every other team who wanted to pursue him. Lonzo Ball is a very underrated player in this league. A lot of people don't like him because of the big baller brand situation, his dad, all that stuff going with it. But Lonzo Ball is an incredible playmaker. He has the best basketball IQ in the league right now at point guard. So. The only one that might have better is CP3, Chris Paul. It's probably a toss-up. I like Lonzo more because Lonzo's younger. So, CP3 is a little bit better of a shooter. But with that being said, that was our first ever edition of Hot or Not.
I like it. I like that segment. We've got to figure out if this is the real Chris Sims because, look,
Can you comment a picture of yourself, Chris Sims? Just take a selfie.
Here's how we're gonna know if this is the real Chris Sims right now. Okay, Chris Sims, if this is you,
who's your dad?
your football takes are stupid. Your lists, your top 10 lists.
Why would you say that? What if it's actually him?
What? I'm calling him out. I want him to come on the show. We will talk about it. Chris Sims,
don't listen to him. We love you here at
come on the show.
Anytime.
I want to talk to you about your top 10 list because they're nuts and your takes are insane.
Buck, send us a break. Get this man off here.
Welcome back to the Man Hour. Wyatt is still rolling. Chris Sims is coming through with comments during the break. But if you've missed any part of the show, you can check us out anytime on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all them spots that you can find the shows. Big X Radio, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. As the comments still come in, Tori Anderson says, did Wyatt just shush Brandon? Chris Sims, look, I'm starting to think that maybe this is the real Chris Sims. I don't know.
It might be. We don't have our thoughts on who is good and who is not good. I play the games. I see things better than you. Oh, Combs. What's your response to that? Combs?
If you see things better than me and I'm still looking at the same rankings that you do every single year, you're looking out of the back end of your brown eye. That's all I can say. But anyway, let's get to everybody. Chris Sims, you want to stick around for this because when it comes to your takes, this is what I have to say to you.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
It is tough, for ain't nobody got time for that. Are you ready, Wyatt?
Let's do it.
You got time for this?
No, actually, ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. So
I've always
you weren't on the show yesterday. You weren't on the show yesterday when we talked about Tim Peel from the NHL. Referee,
yes,
who gets caught on a hot mic and says, I didn't see much there. There wasn't much there. It was a bad call, but I wanted to call a bleeping penalty on the Predators early in the game. Now, I went off on a rant. Like, I'm a referee. I love this game. I love everything about the NHL. I love hockey. This guy, and he got fired, and he's banned from the NHL, and he should never step foot on the ice as a referee at any level ever again. I don't care what it is. You can't go into a game. You want to set a tone, and I understand, like I mentioned last night, I understand setting a tone as a referee. but you don't set a tone and have a team or a player in mind. You set a tone by saying, hey, the stupid stuff, I'm making calls tonight. If you're doing the little things that I normally let go, I'm making calls. You guys aren't going to get away with stupid stuff. Play the game the right way. That's setting a tone. But to come out and say, I wanted to get one early on the Predators, and you get caught on a hot mic saying that nonetheless.
That's just wrong.
I mean, it's a bad look. It's a bad look for the NHL. And we said last night that if he come to find out, like, if you find out like he was like that referee in the NBA who was betting on the games, the NHL is not going to survive this, man. The NHL cannot survive like the NBA did with that whole scandal, or like MLB did with the strike, because the NHL doesn't have a chicks dig the long ball. They don't have a dunk contest or a 3-point contest. They don't have anything to draw fans in, because there's no such thing, like I said last night, there's no such thing as chicks dig the shutout or chicks dig the 2-goal game. Like, that's not a thing. Like,
chicks dig the slap shot.
Yeah, your sport is about as popular as it's going to be, and if this is there, man, it's in trouble.
Would you hold on? First, he says this. Chris Sims says first. He says, "Would you like to talk top 10 quarterbacks?" And then he says, "He must love the pickup of Dalton." Then he says, I can respect Packers fans. You guys understand how to be great in the regular season.
All right, so he's trolling now. You guys understand how to be great in a regular season. That's great. That's it, just the regular season.
Falls off after that, though. Falls off after that, man. Every time.
Let's go to Tim Peel. What are your feelings on this? How do you see what happened here?
This is a raw reaction for me. I hadn't heard this because yesterday I was at my dad's birthday party. I didn't get to watch the first part of the show. So that's crazy. First reaction is wow. Like, what do you say to that? You know what I mean? It's like you never expect a referee at the professional level to act like that, because the amount of work they have to put in to get to that point is ridiculous. Yep. Like, you have to be perfect at every single level, climb your way up the totem pole, and eventually when you get there, then you get there. But for him to straight up just go after the Predators, was he a fan of the other team? What was his reasoning behind it? He's just not like the Preds or something?
I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard him in a thing, but here, let me play this for you. Listen.
Saros makes the save on the other side, but Nashville playing some tic-tac-toe, and Greiss makes up big save. 12:42 to go in the second.
It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a penalty against Nashville early in the...
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my, yeah, he should never ref again at any level. He's done. That's it. Hope you like being a spectator, man. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my
it's
God.
one of those
Why would
things,
you say
man.
that?
I don't know, but
why would
the
you
NHL
do that?
got
That's
wind of it.
wrong.
The NHL heard it. The players heard it. The coaches heard it. Everybody's reaction to it is pretty much the
Nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, so the next one here is, he was a month away from retiring, so that makes it even worse. This guy's been a referee since 1995. He's been a referee.
That actually kind of sucks.
There's gonna be a lot of stories going on. Like I can't wait to find out I want to hear from him. I want to hear from the league. I want to know what's going on. But let's get into this next one here. Spring training injuries, man, are the worst. Dude, they're just the worst.
Yeah, what did we lose? Like, we lost, like, Tatis went down.
Well, Tatis went down. They're saying he's going to be all right. He'll be ready for opening day. The Rockies, they shut down Freeland, their pitcher there, for, I think, a couple of weeks. And then the White Sox lose Eloy Jimenez, which is a huge loss for the White Sox. They lose him for 5 to 6 months with a torn pectoral tendon. as he was trying to rob a home run in spring training. And it was a ball that like he had no chance of catching either. So that makes it even worse. But he's pretty much done for the season. 5-6 months, that takes you right now, that takes you the end of August or the end of September. So basically you're done until playoff time.
Better hope the Rockies make a deep playoff run.
Or the White Sox.
Or you're not playing baseball this year. Or the White Sox, sorry. Better hope the White Sox make a deep playoff run this year, or you ain't playing no baseball.
That's a huge loss for the White Sox. The good thing for them is that they made some moves this offseason that allowed them to move and get deeper in the outfield. So they've got people that could take, but it's not. I mean, Eloy Jimenez is a 270 type hitter that's going to hit 30 home runs and drive in 80 to 90, maybe even 100 RBIs for you. That's a big loss, man. That's a big loss in the middle of your lineup. That's tough, man. And then to lose it on a ball that you had no business really even trying for. I get
trying to retrieve.
You practice how you play. I've always been a big proponent of that. I understand it. You play the game the way you play the game, and if you don't expect to get injured when you try to make a play. But that's a tough loss for the White Sox. So I don't like spring training injuries. I don't like spring training, in having your guys like, I don't know, man. It's a slippery slope. It really is, because it's not that you don't want your guys to try hard because you don't want to tell them to, because sometimes injuries happen when you're trying to do things that you normally don't do. So you don't want them to tell them to do that. It's just, it's a tough one to take. So spring training injuries, man.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. So the NFL, and I don't know if you heard about this, Wyatt, so this may be a raw reaction for you too, has come out and said they have zero intention of making the vaccine Did you lose me there?
Yeah, I think I cut out. We're having really bad weather in southern Indiana right now, man. I am losing all service. So if I blank out on you, that's what it is.
No, you're fine.
The NFL
so
say?
The NFL has no intention of requiring vaccinations.
Why?
Look, man, I don't know. No, they just have no intentions of making it mandatory. They have no intentions of requiring it, and I don't understand, because all the signs and everything that everybody's talking to, and everything that they're talking about is that that's how you get to whatever they're calling it now, tribal immunity or whatever they're calling it now. That's how you get to that, is by everybody getting the vaccination. And where these guys are playing against each other, traveling across country with each other, I feel like why wouldn't you require them to get the shot? Why wouldn't you just say, hey, look, everybody in training camp, we're going to have the vaccinations ready for you at the training camp, take it at the training camp, and we're good to go. I don't understand. But the NFL has no intentions of making it a requirement. I don't get it, man. This is Roger Goodell's God complex at its finest.
Well, what else would you expect from Sir Daddy Roger Goodell over the NFL? You know why it's the NFL? You know why it's called the NFL? It's not because it's the National Football League. It's because it's the no fun league. He does things wrong all the time. I'm telling you, man. I'm just kidding.
He's got that God complex, and I don't understand this.
Did you expect Granddaddy Master Roger Goodell to do something right here? Like, was anybody expecting Roger Goodell to come out and do something right? Because he does. This is a constant thing. He always screws this up. Whether if it's losing. I do that with quotations for our audience listening on Big X. They can't see me right now.
Yeah.
Big finger quotations. Losing evidence, aka hiding evidence. Not penalizing guys to the extent that they need to be. Kicking out players in the league because they smoke weed, but allowing a player who kicked a girl in the face to come back and play. Well, it's Roger Goodell. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. This guy's an
Yeah.
idiot. He does this 24/7.
And when it
What-
comes to the vaccinations and everything that we're trying to accomplish across the country so we can open back up to normal businesses, and you're a
we're making
multi-billion
huge-
dollar organization,
Yeah.
multi-billion dollar organization, and we're trying to get everything else so that the common man can actually earn his money again, and you don't want to require vaccination?
Ain't time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, so that is all the time that we have for Ain't Nobody Got Time for That. We're going to get to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some college basketball. It's been a basketball-heavy show today. You excited about that?
Oh, I love it. You know, it's my sport. Basketball and football, man. If we're talking basketball and football, you know,
Well,
if
look,
we're
if you're
if
filling
we're
out
on
those
man
second
hour,
chance brackets, you've got a chance here on Man Hour. Go onto the Facebook page. There's a link to the second chance brackets. We're going to talk second chance brackets, so make sure that you don't listen to anything Wyatt says because his first round bracket was not very good. Don't listen to anything that this guy has to say. Listen to everything that I have to say because my 21% is amazing.
The only person that, Mr.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, everybody.
Pow!
It's your boy Brandon Combs back with the Wyatt Williams.
Yes, sir.
Wyatt, Sweet 16's coming up this weekend, man. You excited?
I love it. Oh, I am fired up. You know it. College basketball. We got state championship here in Indiana. Hoosier Hysteria at its finest. My man Trey, my man Cooper, my man Brandon Northern, all those guys are playing in it. Man, I could not be more cheesed out. This is the best time of the year, man. NBA trade deadline. Basketball.
Yeah. So let's get into it, man. Let's go game by game here. See what we got going on. Let's go kind of quick, but not too quick, and give everybody what they're looking for. Let's pick the Sweet 16, then we'll pick the Elite Eight. How about that?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So Gonzaga versus Creighton. I'm going to go first here real quick. I'll go first on this one. Look, I'm
Ladies
going with
first,
Creighton
as
in
they
this
say.
one. I'm going with Creighton. I think Creighton pulls off the upset in this one. I think it's about time Gonzaga's going to lose, and I think Creighton's got the weapons to do it. They've got Marcus Zagorowski, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. They're one of the best shooting teams in this tournament. They also have a starting lineup that is it's got a ton of upperclassmen in it. So I think that their experience, the balanced offensive attack, I think the Blue Jays are going to be a tough opponent for Gonzaga. I'm going with the Blue Jays, man. I'm pulling off the upset.
Come on now,
a 5 seed, headed to the Elite Eight.
Oh man, come on now. No, Gonzaga. Did you watch Gonzaga in their previous games?
I have.
Oklahoma is a heck of a team. Oklahoma, other than
So is
Loyola
Creighton.
Chicago, was the best 8 seed. I think Oklahoma's better than Creighton. I really do. I mean,
Creighton
I
can
thought
shoot with
Ohio.
Gonzaga. This could very well be a 91-90 game.
I don't think so. I think it'll be a high scoring game. I agree with you there, but I think Creighton is a good team. Drew, I hate to do this to you, man. I think they're a good team. They really are. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to Gonzaga is just a better team. Creighton has the 2 shooters. I don't remember their names. For them, they have the 2 shooters. One of them is much better than the other one, but the other one's a mediocre or average scorer for them. But Gonzaga, this is the best Gonzaga team that they've ever had. Like, it's not even close. Like, you can go back to when, Kelly Olynyk, who we talked about earlier for the Miami Heat. You can go back to that team. And we can look at, many teams over time. Gonzaga has had a lot of good teams that have never been able to do it. I'm telling you, man, this is the year. This has to be the year.
Zagorowski can really shoot, though. And this Creighton team can shoot with the best of them. I'm telling you, this is going to be that game that if Gonzaga does win it, this is going to be the one test that they need to get over the hump and run the table.
If Creighton was playing any other 1 seed, I would follow you 100%. I would go with Creighton. I think Creighton is a heck of a team, but I just think they got an unfortunate
seed left in the tournament.
No, there's 2, Michigan and Baylor.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Michigan. Yeah. I gotcha.
I really think Creighton would probably beat Michigan. Or Creighton would beat Michigan. I think they would struggle with Baylor, but I think them and Baylor would come down to the wire. I think Gonzaga wins this by 10 points. I do. I think at least
All
6 plus. 6 to 10 points.
Me
somewhere in
versus
there.
you. We did not agree on this one. Let's get to the next one. USC, Oregon. Go ahead. You go first on this one.
See, and this one is interesting. This right here, I talked to everybody at the beginning of the bracket about how great of a matchup that Gonzaga and Iowa was going to be. I think this is the best game of the tournament, right? As of right now, we'll see what the final ends up coming out to be. We'll see if it ends up being Gonzaga Baylor. We'll see what it ends up being. But as of right now, I think USC and Oregon ends up being the best game of this tournament because you've got 2 teams that are hungry. They're Pac-12 teams. They've got a lot to prove. They were slept on heavily up to this point. They've both knocked off really good teams. They've both had a hard road to get here. And they are going to clash. I mean, clash each other. But with that being said, I'm going to use the exact same thing that I used whenever they played Iowa, and that is Oregon is fresher. I know they had the 5 I know they had a 5 to 7 day break. I completely get it, but there's still a tournament game fresher. They are still 1 tournament game fresher. In the tournament, you run harder. You shoot, you do everything harder and faster. You take a toll more on your body in the tournament because you want it. It is a life goal sitting out there in front of you. So guys play harder for it than they do in the regular season.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
So
the playoff games, guys run harder. So
I agree with everything that you just said. I think USC's resume over the course of the season has been probably one of the strongest resumes heading into the tournament, other than a Big Ten school. They have a very impressive resume. They've been hot. I mean, really, really hot. And I just think that they're the hotter team right now. I think that they've done this all year long. I think they've been there, done that. I think that they get past Oregon and they go on to play Creighton in the Elite Eight.
All right. We go different on both of those.
Yeah. So I've got Creighton USC 5-6 matchup in the Elite Eight. All right, so next game here, Michigan, Florida State. I will go ahead and go first here. This is a tough one for me because Florida State was not playing good heading into this tournament. They've played better basketball in the tournament, but I think we counted out Michigan a little too early. I think we were all down on Michigan. I feel like I thought
this is where I had Michigan losing. In my bracket.
Yeah, out of all the number 1 seeds, I felt Michigan was the weakest. Michigan and Baylor, I thought were the 2 weakest 1 seeds, and yet they're still out there. And Illinois went home already. So I'm gonna stick with the Big Ten here. I think the Big Ten's gonna turn it around in this tournament, and have a couple of representatives still. So I'm gonna go with Michigan in this one. I think that it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a very good game, but I think Michigan beats Florida State.
Yeah, you got Michigan. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
God, we're gonna go against each other again. Give me Florida State. This is where I had Michigan losing, but I had them losing to Georgetown. Georgetown, dude, the Hoyas. No, that didn't work. That was a bad pick. I listened to way too many people that said that they were good. I listened to the hype around them going into the Big East. And I thought they were a serious team because of they had a bad season, but they played really good in that Big East tournament. They came ready for the tournament, and then they just puked. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Florida State is a heck of a team, and if Michigan had livers, I think as of right now, if Michigan had livers other than Gonzaga, I think Michigan would be the best team left in the rest of the pool. But with that being said, you take their best player out, that they lose a lot in livers. I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
And guys have been stepping up. They really have. They've had a lot of guys, Wagner, they've had a lot of guys on that roster step up and make those big moves to keep them alive in this tournament. But I think the luck runs out right here. I think Florida State rolls them.
Wow. Rolls them, huh?
Rolls them big.
I think Michigan wins this game. But let's get to the next one here, because this next one's going to be an interesting one. UCLA, an 11 seed, one of 4 double-digit seeds still left in the Sweet 16, goes up against number 2 Alabama. Who are you taking?
Did you see that last game where Bama played?
I did.
Oh my God!
I've seen the last 2 games that UCLA has played too, man.
UCLA. I'm not taking anything away from UCLA, but I gotta say, Alabama, they've got this switch. I don't know if it's in the locker room. I don't know if it's on the bench. I don't know if it's in the players' heads. I don't know if it's in the coach's head. But this switch gets flipped, and Alabama's the best team in the tournament. If Alabama's on, they're a national title winner. If they're off, though, they lose this game. That's why this is such a big risk here with these picks, because, it's tough. It's tough to pick this because you've got a team that if they're hot, I mean, Bama is a heck of a team offensively, shooting wise, defensively, they lock down. If they're hot, they're hot. If they're not, they're not. But with that being said, they have been hot in this tournament so far. They've been flipping that switch, so they give me no reason to believe yet that they're going to lose that switch. I think roll Tide here. They win this one.
Unfortunately, this is going to be the first time we agree. I agree. I've got Alabama in this game. I hate rooting for any Alabama team ever.
Oh, sure.
Whether it's football, basketball, I just don't care. I don't like Alabama. But I'm picking them to win this game. I'm not going to talk too highly of them. But Alabama over UCLA to play Michigan in the Elite Eight. The only 1-2 matchup we are going to see in the Elite Eight. All right, so then moving on, we've got Baylor versus Villanova. I am going with Baylor here. I said Baylor was one of the weakest 1 seeds. I don't think Villanova has what it takes to beat Baylor, to knock Baylor off. I don't think Baylor gets to the championship game. They lose somewhere along the way, but this is not that game. And so give me Baylor over Villanova, and I'm gonna say probably by 15 points.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. They when they another team that lost a really good guard in Gillespie. It's a miracle they've even made it this far. It's a miracle they beat Winthrop. I had a feeling they moved past Winthrop, and I put that in my bracket. They ended up moving past, and then they got an out playing North Texas. If they'd have played Purdue, I don't think they would have won in that last game. I know North Texas beat Purdue, but it's as simple as this. These little teams get hot streaks, and they can beat the best teams in the country. We saw it. Oral Roberts beat Ohio State. Does that mean that Oral Roberts is better than Ohio State? Heck no, it doesn't. Ohio State would win that game 99 times. Well, not 99.
They just were that game.
That was just the game.
But that's the beauty of this tournament.
That is the beauty of March Madness. That's why we love it. That's why we play the game. Because if we didn't play the game, then we'd have an all 1 seed Final Four. we'd have an all 1 seed final, and then we'd have a 1 seed win it all. So
Yeah,
that's why we play the games. That's the beauty of it. So with that being said, it's a miracle they've made it this far. It really is. They got an out playing. They've only played Winthrop and North Texas so far. Who they played? Nobody.
Right.
Baylor's battle test at this point. I think they played a really good team. Who did they play? The 8-9 seed. Who was the 9 seed they played? Now I'm totally going to space my mind. But anyways, they've handled all their games very well. Whether if it was, of course they handled that 16 seed, they throttled them, but they played really well against the 8 or 9 seed. God, I can't remember who it is.
I'm looking it up right now. Hold on.
Yeah, me too. But with that being said, they look at a previous schedule here. So they had Hartford, Wisconsin. They beat they beat Torrey's Wisconsin Badgers. So they played a really good team in Wisconsin. I knew it was going to slip my mind. But with that being said, give me Baylor on that. They're a much better team than Villanova.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going as well. So we've agreed on the last 2. Now we've got the Cinderella story of the tournament.
It is. Round them up,
Roberts. Baby. I never even heard of this school. Not gonna
Nobody
lie.
has.
Never even heard of Oral Roberts. But they are the 15th seed. The NCAA has messed up and said that Oral Roberts should have been like a 7 seed or something like that.
7 or better. A 7 or better. That's they didn't even say just a 7. They said a 7 or better. They opened the possibilities. You know why they said that? To save face if Oral Roberts wins this again. They'll be like, look, we told you they should have been a 7 or better. We told you that a week ago.
But they were 16-10 in a really bad conference. Like, I don't understand what they're talking about. Why this team should have been better than a 7 seed. So
it's as simple as this. Go ahead.
Yeah, Arkansas versus Oral Roberts.
Come on. You know you want to do it.
I can't do it, man.
Do it.
I'm going to Arkansas. Oral Roberts,
so
Cinderella story ends in
boring.
the Sweet 16.
It's fine. You've got plenty of Cinderella stories you can choose from.
We've got a 1-3 matchup here in the Elite 8. Baylor versus Arkansas. Who you got in this one?
What did I just say? What did I just tell you guys? We got to go with
Roberts.
it. Give me Oral Roberts, the first ever 15 seed to make the Elite 8. They are on fire.
That would be amazing, man. I'm rooting for him.
I love it. I'm
rooting for him to win the whole damn thing at this point. Illinois is gone. I'm rooting for him to win the whole damn thing. I just want him to blow everybody's bracket apart. Make everybody except for the one guy that is goes to Oral Roberts and is the water boy of the team and put them in the championship just because.
Rock them up.
I'm rooting for him. I just can't pick him.
I have to in this one, man. So give me Baylor on that. Baylor plays give me Oral Roberts. They will go on to play the 1 seed Baylor in the Elite 8.
So let's get to one that I'm really excited for, man. I think this is going to be the best game of the Sweet 16.
I think it's
Loyola Chicago versus Oregon State.
Yep.
Oregon State, a team that can really put up points.
They can.
Loyola Chicago, a team that really can stop you from scoring points, as we've seen throughout this tournament.
It's the perfect offense versus defense matchup that everybody loves and wants. It's exactly what you want in a basketball game. It's amazing. But with that being said, Oregon State, we talked about this a lot on the show. Oregon State is the only 12 seed that got zero recognition for the 5-12 upset. Everybody wrote Oregon State off right out the bat. Hey, Tennessee's got a great defense. They're going to ruin Oregon State. It's not even going to be fair. Come to find out, it was the other way around. Oregon State ruined Tennessee and clobbered them. I mean, it wasn't even that. It was just a bad game. It was terrible. And Oregon State ended up advancing in the second game as well over was Oklahoma? No, it wasn't Oklahoma State. It was it Oklahoma State?
Who's that?
Yes, it was Oklahoma State. Oregon State beat Oklahoma State. Yes, I do remember that now because I texted Nikki's brother and I said, "Who you got in this?" He said, "OSU." But yeah, I at the end of the day, here's the deal: defense wins championships. I think Loyola really has a shot to go win it all. I 100% do. I think of right now, everybody seated in this tournament at 3 and below. I think Loyola has the best shot to win it at everybody 3 and below. I really
agree, man. I love this Loyola Chicago team. I think
I love
Oregon
Sister
State is
Jean.
a team that's been on a run, and they're a team that really shouldn't be in the position that they're in, but they found a way to get there. Loyola Chicago is a team that 3 years ago was in the Final Four.
Yeah.
They know how to get there. They know what it takes.
Yeah.
And I
Sister
think
Jean's prayers that include stats are
and
They're amazing.
Sister Jean's bracket had Loyola Chicago going to the Elite Eight and losing to Houston, if you can believe that. She had them picked to lose in the Elite Eight as well. So I'm going Loyola Chicago here, man. I just love their defense. Their defense can confuse anybody out there. Their defense is so good. Their transition defense is good. Their zone defense, their man defense, every part of their defense is amazing. I'm going Loyola Chicago. So moving on to the final one of the Sweet 16 here, Syracuse versus Houston. I'm agreeing with Sister Jean here. I think Syracuse's run ends, as much as I would have loved to have a whole bunch of 11 and 12 and 15 and seeds in this Elite Eight. I just can't do it, man. They've never done it. I don't see it happening again. I'm going Houston here.
Yeah, I can't go with you there. I'm going Syracuse. Because Houston barely beat Rutgers. Houston should not even be in this right now. If Rutgers would have played,
Rutgers is a good team, man.
If Rutgers would have played good for 2 more minutes of basketball, 2 minutes, that's it. They would have beat Houston.
Rutgers is a very good Big Ten team, though. I mean, it's not like they're a dog. They're a very good Big Ten team.
I think Syracuse
and
is
that Big
better.
Ten Conference is so good. And we talked about the Big Ten Conference at length.
Yeah, but
we've got one Big Ten team left.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you right now. I think Syracuse wins this. I think they win it, and I think they win it by 10. I really do. I think Houston chokes here. I really do.
Okay. All right. So we went different in a lot. So let's run through. I'm gonna run through my Elite Eight real quick first, and then you can run through your Elite Eight real quick. We're gonna go real quick with it though. I've got Creighton USC in the Elite Eight, and I know Wyatt's got a different one. I'm going with Creighton to go ahead and upset USC in that one. I've got Creighton in the Final Four. Then Michigan, Alabama. I have got Michigan going on to the Final Four in that one. Baylor, Arkansas. I've got Arkansas upsetting Baylor and heading to the Final Four. Loyola, Chicago, and Houston. This is where Sister Jean's bracket busts because Loyola, Chicago is moving on and going to another Final Four. So I've got Creighton, Michigan, Arkansas, Loyola, Chicago in the Final Four. What do you got?
So I have Gonzaga versus Oregon, and I have Gonzaga winning that one. I think they win that one handedly. The run for Oregon ends there. Gonzaga moves on, as well as Florida State, Alabama. Alabama continues the hot streak. Give me Bama on that one. Bama moves on to play one. Gonzaga will have a 1-2 matchup there for those teams. Then below that, I've got 1 Baylor, 15 Oral Roberts. That's crazy to say right now, actually.
That's crazy.
They made it this far. So give me Baylor on that one. I think Oral Roberts runs.
Oh, you're gonna stop
here.
at Oral Roberts? You're not gonna bring them all the way through? Come on,
no,
a Final Four team.
Have to.
Come on.
There has never been a 15 seed even make the Elite Eight. This is an accomplishment in itself for them.
So keep running with them.
I can't.
Don't give up on them.
I can't. Baylor. I think Baylor's a good team. Baylor is a heavily slept on team. Baylor's playing like they did whenever they were undefeated. So give me Baylor to advance on there. I got 8 Loyola Chicago, 11 Syracuse. Give me the Loyola Chicago Ramblers with Sister Jean to move on there. So I've got Gonzaga 1 versus 2, Bama in my Final Four, as well as 1 Baylor and 8 Loyola Chicago for my Final Four. So I've got a 1, a 2, a 1, and an 8.
So 1, from 2, 1, that 8. Final Four, I've got Creighton and Michigan. I'm going with Creighton, baby. Give me Creighton in a title game. Nobody saw this coming. Creighton is on a run.
You called this everybody. Your crazy bracket.
I did call it in my crazy bracket. I had Creighton winning the whole damn thing in my crazy bracket. And then I have Arkansas, Loyola, Chicago. Give me the defense of my boys. Give me Loyola, Chicago, baby. We are going to have an 8 versus a 5 seed in the final. Can you believe this? An 8 versus a 5 seed in the final. Loyola Chicago, Michigan. Now, I do have to warn you guys, if you are filling out a second chance bracket, I was only 21% correct in
You should
the
not
first
listen to Combs.
3 rounds. So just keep that in mind. But I've learned from my mistakes. I've watched the games. I see how these guys are playing.
No,
I'm really high on both of these two teams.
I love it. We have our group. Go ahead.
So I've got Creighton versus Loyola Chicago in the final, and then I will pick Creighton to stick with my crazy bracket and win it all.
Awesome.
Right.
But I just love it. We've got our what's it called? We got our group chat, and we're in there, and Buck's like, hey, let's do a second chance bracket, and you're like, hey, yeah, let's do another bracket I can screw up. That was awesome. But with that being said, my final 4, first game, Gonzaga versus Alabama. I think Alabama's run-ins here. Gonzaga's the best team in this tournament, and I don't even think it's close. Gonzaga moves on here. They throttle Alabama. Alabama has a cold game. I think Gonzaga could win this seriously by 15 points, 20 points. So Gonzaga moves on. As well as, this is the Final Four. It's time for the big boys. I love Loyola Chicago. I love everything they've done, but I'm cutting them off here in the Final Four. They lose for a second time in a row in the Final Four as a higher than 8 seed, 8 or higher seed. Baylor moves on for me. It'll be 1 Gonzaga, 1 Baylor in the final, and Gonzaga wins at 78-75 to finally cap off their championship run.
You're boring. Let's pick the number 1 seed. Let's pick the team that hasn't lost to anybody.
Who's winning in the brackets again? Who's winning in the bracket again?
I'm going to run with the team that's undefeated. Boring.
I want to win. What do you mean?
God.
Hold on, I want to address a comment here. Hold on. Chris said 3 or lower seed. There's only 3 teams above. No, there's not. Hold on. I don't think I'm wrong on this right now. Let me check.
What's that?
Right now, above 3, there's 1 in Creighton, 2 USC, 3
Alabama,
Oregon,
2 Houston.
Well, I said above 3. So Creighton, USC, Oregon, Florida State, that's 4. UCLA 5, Nova 6, Oral Roberts 7, Loyola Chicago 8, Oregon State 9, Houston 10. There's 10 teams that are
a 3 or above.
A 3 or above. What? There's not 3.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I think Loyola Chicago is the best of the
like I said,
the 3 and above seats.
Chris Sims,
3 through 15.
Worst sports takes ever, Chris Sims.
Oh, Chris, boy, man.
But at any rate, we are going to take our final break, and when we get back, we will come in and close out the show. No after show tonight. Buck is not with us. I don't know how to run the after show. I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Me either, man.
He is the tech guy. That's what we usually use him for. But he is laying in bed, sucking on a binky, and waiting to get his head rubbed. So we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be back to close out the show. Be right back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to the Man Hour. As always, if you miss any part of the show, you catch us at YouTube.com/Man Hour. You can play and replay the entire show. Heck, you can go back all week long and replay every show if you want. So, as Chris Sims chimes in and says, worst takes, that is harsh. Well, I'll tell you this. All right. Hold on. I apologize, Chris Sims. Second worst takes of all time, because I forgot that we have a guy on this show named Michael Buckheister. So second worst takes of all time, Chris Sims. That is you. I can't get, like, do you see this guy's top 10s lists?
It is pretty wild. I will give you that. I mean, there's some out there that are just kind of little wacko.
Like, I mean, I'm not sure that this is the Chris Sims.
I don't think it is.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. But I'm not sure that this is the Chris Sims. But I don't know, man. Like his quarterback rankings and everything, like they're just through the roof. Like, did you see what was the last ones that he gave up? I believe the craziest ones they were like week 11 or something, right? So no surprise, he has Pat Mahomes at number 1, Aaron Rodgers at number 2. But then he has Russell Wilson at number 3, Kyler Murray at number 4, Josh Allen at number 5, Deshaun Watson at number 6, Lamar Jackson at 7, Justin Herbert at 8, Joe Burrow at 9, Ryan Tannehill at 10. I don't know if you listened to that list, but guess who was not on that list? Tom frickin' Brady.
Good God.
Tom Brady is not even in his top 10, and he just won another Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know. That is pretty wild.
Like, you've got Kyler Murray. What does he need to 4. Do? How do you have Kyler Murray above Deshaun Watson and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson?
Wild. Well, Buck would have Lamar Jackson at 32 and Kyler Murray at 31. So in QB rankings, I missed on Joe only because he got hurt. What was Brady doing at week 11? I love this guy. Get him, Combs. Get him.
You're an idiot. That's how I get you. Flat out, you're an idiot.
Lord.
I don't care. Even if this is a real Chris Sims. If this is a real Chris Sims, look, shoot me your email or hit me up on Messenger, and I will send you a link to come on right now. Let's have at it. Because I think that the stuff that you say is stupid.
For the last 8 minutes of the show, let's go at it.
Do I shy away from Buck when he says stupid stuff? I'm not going to shy away from Chris Sims. I don't care if you're Chris Sims. I don't care if your dad won a Super Bowl. Great. He beat the Buffalo Bills. Everybody beat the Buffalo Bills in the 90s.
I could have beat the Buffalo Bills in the 90s.
Absolutely. Chris Sims, get the hell out of here with your Tom Brady's not even in the top 10, but Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are. Get out of here.
Wild.
Stupid.
I don't think he's wrong with putting some of those guys in the top 10. But
Kyler Murray at 4, man.
No, that's way too high. No, I think Kyler Murray
even at week 11, even if you go back to week 11, Kyler Murray over Josh Allen, over Deshaun Watson, and over Lamar Jackson. Even though Deshaun Watson wasn't winning games, he was still putting up numbers.
Yeah.
Like, only NFC East teams beat the Bills in the 90s. That's true. Cowboys did it twice, the Giants and the Redskins. All won Super Bowls against all won Super Bowls.
Dude, like, you've got to feel bad for the Bills. And, like, just that situation, like, it's genuinely sucks so bad that, like, you go to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lose all 4. Like,
look, man, I'm a Cubs fan. I know all about getting there and getting disappointed. I know you're only 18, so you don't remember as much. Like, you were born the year of Bartman, right? You were born 2003?
2002.
Okay, so you were 1 when Bartman happened. You probably don't even know who Bartman is, do you?
Sounds familiar. What's that?
So Bartman the Cubs were up 3-2. They're at Wrigley against the Florida Marlins, up 3-0 in the 8th inning with 1 out, and a foul ball gets hit. And at the time,
where the fan reaches over and grabs it. I know what you're talking about.
He didn't reach over. He was in his seat. He didn't even reach over. It was Moises Alou goes into the stands, and he's about to. He would have caught the ball. I'll give him that. He would have caught the ball, but he's in the stands. What do you do as a fan and a foul ball is coming, especially in a playoff game where you feel like the Cubs might finally go to a World Series for the first time since 1945? He reaches up like this. He's in the stands. Chris Sims, he did not reach over. Shut your mouth. He did not reach over. He didn't. Watch it again.
Hold on.
Moises Alou's glove is in the stands when the ball is touched. So anyway, the Cubs end up losing, but they lose because on the very next play, a ground ball is hit to Alex Gonzalez. It would have been an inning-ending double play, routine ground ball, and he booted it. And from there, the Marlins went on to go ahead and win that game. Then they won Game 7, even though Kerry Wood hit a 3-run home run and all this other stuff. It was depressing. It was sad. I cried for like 3 freaking days after that game. It was like it was horrible as a Cubs fan. But
okay, hold on. I'm watching the highlight here.
He does not reach over.
Let's see.
And if you can look,
I don't know. It's close. It's close.
So if you can look at the still footage,
they're zooming it in, bro. He leans over. He leans over.
He does not lean.
I'm telling you right now, he leaned over. If that is not leaning over, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, then you're out of your mind. But at any rate, he's trying to catch a foul ball, which every fan does. And so Bartman happened. Everybody blamed him. It was not his fault. It was not a Bartman thing. It was a Alex Gonzalez booting a routine double play ball on the very next pitch. That cost the Cubs their chance of going to the World Series in 2003. But I digress.
Yeah.
I know all about disappointment being a Chicago Cubs fan. But
and a Bears fan.
4 Super Bowls in a row.
And a Bulls fan after Jordan left.
Well, you can kind of relate to the Buffalo Bills, right? I mean, how many NFC Championships games have you watched the Packers losing?
It's not the big game, though.
Oh. It's just the big game to get to the big game, though, right?
I can relate to it through LeBron, though. Bro, I can't even tell you how many times LeBron went to the finals and then lost. Those were rough nights. Especially when he got beat 4-0 against the Warriors, and it's all because J.R. Smith didn't know that they were tied. Like, literally, the dude on your team smokes so much weed that he has no clue what the score of the game is. He jogs it outside. Still
photo. Can you see that still photo?
I can't see. I'm gonna make my screen bigger here. He is totally reaching over there.
Look at where Moises Alou's glove is at. Moises Alou is reaching. They kind of met in the middle, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I guess it's kind of in the middle.
But
it's a little bit of both.
Either way, it's not the fans' fault. I mean, everybody was going for the foul ball.
Yeah, well, there's like 5 people. He just happened to be the poor dude who actually caught it.
But they were throwing everything. They were throwing beer at him. They were spitting on him. Like, he ended up having to move out of Chicago because he was getting death threats and all sorts of stuff. And actually, after that series was over, and they heard about everything that was going on, the Florida Marlins bought him a house in Florida.
Really?
To get out of Chicago for, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That he's a Marlins fan now.
No,
did they used to be called the Florida Marlins, not the Miami Marlins?
He reconciled with Cubs ownership after the World Series in 2016. They actually presented him with a ring at Wrigley Field. Fans stood and cheered for him. The same fans that were throwing beer bottles and spitting on him. Probably not the same fans, but
no,
you know what I mean. Fans
were you there, Combs?
Anyway. I was not. I never blamed Bartman. Like, it was stupid to blame Bart. Like, it just made no sense. The very next play, like I've said before, a routine double play ball that would have ended the inning, and you would have gone to the 9th inning with a 3-0 lead, and Alex Gonzalez booted it, and then they scored 5 runs after that. Like, that's on Alex Gonzalez. It's not on the fan. You had the inning-ending double play ball hit to you, and you booted it. and people just for whatever reason, is because at the time it's the curse of the Billy Goat, and because fans are stupid and all that other stuff. But sorry to everybody listening, but I mean,
Exactly.
look, we as referees and as coaches, as stuff that I've done, we always refer to the fans as the idiots in the stands because they always know more than you do about the game, even though you're the one coaching it or reffing it, and they're the one sitting there watching.
Well, that's what they're called. The fan is short for fanatic, and anything that ends in attic is never good. I mean, think about it, right?
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, very valid point. Wyatt, you got anything crazy going on this weekend?
Nothing really. I'm heading to Ohio on Sunday, so Man Hour Nation, I apologize to let you know I will not be here next week. I will miss the heck out of everybody. I'll be on the show commenting and stuff, of course, but I'm headed to Ohio just to meet with the girlfriend's family.
Yep.
So you will be missing TWW, the Wyatt Williams, next week. I apologize, guys, but you know what? Combs and Buck, they're the best too. They got this covered.
We are going to have a family dinner on Saturday. My 40th birthday is on Monday, so Michelle is getting both families together, my family and her family, to do a dinner at a Mexican restaurant called La Fiesta. And it's going to be a good time. I mean, we're going to have a good time this weekend.
La Fiesta.
On Sunday, I am trying out for a 30 and over men's baseball league here in Chicago. So that's going to be interesting and fun.
That's awesome. I love it.
Hey, I can play ball now, man. Don't let Hoffy's stories fool you. I can play a little bit of ball. So
who's better, you or Hoffy?
Hoffy, for sure.
Is Hoffy still really good? Hoffy was apparently really good in high school, right?
Hoffy's an absolute stud.
Was he a beast in high school?
I don't know. I didn't know him in high school. I knew him after high school, but all signs point to yes. I mean, you don't just develop that talent overnight. So I would assume yes, he was probably a stud in high school.
If you could steal one trait that Hoffy has on the baseball field, what would it be?
His arm. Dude, he's got a freaking cannon.
Like pitching or outfield?
I've got a little pea shooter. He's got a fucking cannon. Like, gotta bleep that out. What was that? 158.24. Buck.
Yep,
Buck 158.23. I dropped an F-bomb.
He did it. He said it. 158. Gosh, Big X Radio. I am so sorry. Okay.
I dropped an F-bomb. Bleep it out.
Jeez.
Anyway, so
oh my God. You can't trust you with anything, Combs.
Yeah.
I'm trusting you. I'm letting you tell your stories. And what do? You go and drop an F-bomb on us. Come on.
So you're headed up to Ohio to go ahead and see the monster-in-laws, as you put it. What part of Ohio are you going to?
Columbus.
Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You know on the beat every time, no.